Diving right in, this is what Artemis looks like upon login. You can select the patient weight here. Click here to get to the larger weight zones. You can see adult, adolescent type sizes. Click there to get back to pediatric. You can also estimate weight by selecting the Broslow color. So here, let's say a child measures a Broslow yellow, you would click here, and it shows that you've estimated the weight as 12 to 14 kilograms. You can search for medications and procedures here by typing something in. You can click on an alphabetical list, or you can click on a category. The default category is resuscitation, which shows here. And as I scroll down, I can see that there are some critical rhythm flow charts and resuscitation medications. Let's click on adenosine first dose IV. This is our therapeutic grid. You can see again the drug name, indication, the dosing, trade name, the weight repeated, the amount that you'd give in milligrams, which is what most systems stop at. But we also show, based on the concentration, what the mils are that you administer. And let's say that somebody ordered a medication from outside of the Artemis system and you're only using it for administration. For that reason, we have this handy Recalc feature. Could be, for example, that there's an electronic medical record system that calculates the doses slightly differently, and this is being used by the nurse to administer the drug and make sure it's done properly. So let's say the doctor ordered 1.4 milligrams. If I click Recalc, you'll see it recalculates the exact mils to give and tells you the variance from the Artemis standard. Below you'll see the administration information, adverse reactions, and it's very tailored towards acute care. Let's select another drug. I can go back to the previous page here. Let's take a look at amiodarone. The reference means that it's our standard dose. That's the standard indication. In this case, you'll see that there's more than one concentration. As an administrator, and I'm in as administrator mode, you can actually tailor this. And I'll show you there's a feature here where I can add back rows. And you'll see it'll add back all the possible concentrations. And I can tailor it to, for example, let's say we give, as a standard, just 5 milligrams per mil. I can delete. So that the caregivers see only what's currently carried. Scrolling down, I'll show you how we can get to further reference material. As I mentioned, our information is really honed for acute care, but you can click on any of these external sources to get a lot more detail. If you subscribe to Clinical Pharmacology or Lexicomp, you click there and go directly to the drug. And there are a couple free references here. Drugs.com is actually content provided by Micromedics, and it's free. It has some annoying ads, but otherwise it has information. So you can see amiodarone, all kinds of information. And this is really a good thing to see the alternative approach without using an Artemis. If you were trying to get dosing information, I'm scrolling down, I'm trying to find exactly how much would I give. So I'm scrolling, trying to find the dosing information. Here I can see information on the indications. In our system, we pick that up front. Here you have to kind of dig through it after finding the drug name. Loss of vision, precautions. Okay, I'm taking too much time here, but let's see, we should get to it somewhere here. Oh, there we are. I think I went too fast. Dosage and information. So I'd have to read all this, and it starts to give you the information and the table, how supplied. Anyway, you get the point. A medical encyclopedia is not really all that helpful for acute care. Note here that we only include serious adverse reactions and contraindications that one might be worried about in an emergency. Unlike a medical encyclopedia, we don't have an exhaustive list of all types of side effects like irritability, for example. You can always get that information by clicking on the encyclopedia links. I'm going to scroll back up to show you another feature. Recall that we have a 12-kilogram child. We're giving the child amiodarone. We can actually record what we're doing with a simple mouse click. I click here and administer, and it records that we gave 65 milligrams at this time. I can also type event notes, and there you go. It'll record anything I want to say that might happen at that time. And I can continue to do this with other drugs. And I'll use this opportunity actually to show you some of our flowcharts. So I'll go to resuscitation, and we'll pick tachycardia. Here you see one of our flowcharts. I can scroll over equipment chart and vital signs. It'll give me equipment information. And this is actually from PALS. You can see the flowchart. We give the more detailed information on the right column and the summary information in the body of the flowchart. So let's say we have wide possible VTAC and cardiopulmonary compromise is no. So in that case, we would give the adenosine first dose. And then we could just click on administer. And there it says that we gave that information. At any time, we can enter case notes, case ID, which could be an ID number or could be a patient name, for example. I'll just put a number. I can enter some notes about the incident here. Submit that. I can click report and get a nice report here that tells me what happened, what was given, what were the conditions at the time. And I can even save this as a PDF. Here you can see a nice PDF that I can email or attach to an electronic medical record system, for example. So now let me show you a few other features. I'll go back to the system here. And I'm going to scroll to the top and actually show you the search. Let's say we're searching for DEX, dexamethasone. I'm doing this to show you an example of how you can see all the work that's been put into this and hear all the different indications or uses for dexamethasone. Remember the medical encyclopedia approach where you'd find the drug name and have to read through all that long text. Here, if you know why you're giving it, you see it listed, you click, and you get the information. I'll show you another fun feature here, our burns feature. Artemis is really about taking the calculations out of your care. You shouldn't have to think about it. Those things should happen automatically so you can focus on the patient. And burns is a great example of this. Rather than have to calculate the burn body percentage through some handwritten calculator approach, you just click on the body parts that are burned and indicate the amount each part is burned. So let's say the head is burned 100%, the upper arm is burned, or 90%, upper arm is burned 90%. Let's say the chest is burned maybe 70%. After clicking on those things, then I click on total, and it'll calculate for me the total body burn percentage here and give me the fluid therapy even hours out. And I can show you how it's adjusts based on the patient size. If I go to a baby, you'll see the head versus body ratio is very different than the small child I showed you before, or even an adult, which uses the rule of nines. In summary, Artemis has a tremendous amount of information. I've only touched the tip of the iceberg in content, as well as features, actually. There are thousands of pages in drugs, other advanced features such as barcode scanning. And all of this is really designed for the acute caregiver.